So, good afternoon, dear guests, which I could see. Good afternoon, everyone behind the scenes. Actually, I am very pleased to be here and share my insights and story, especially on such an important and interesting topic as diversity. And if we think of different components of diversity, like race, ethnicity, cultural differences, so sexual orientation, I would say that all those components, they really help to create innovative and creative teams. On another hand, diversity is a very broad topic. And for today specifically, I have chosen to talk about women entrepreneurship. The topic which we are elaborating today on gender equality. But I'm going to share you also some numbers which really prove that women entrepreneurship or more women involved in business could really bring more value to all of us and the society. So, you know, bankers, they like figures. So I'm going to share a few of them today also with you. And there is a strong correlation between women inclusion and economic growth. Professor and the state secretary has already mentioned that women can really contribute to economic growth. There were several researches done, but I have chosen to share two of those today. Research on gender diversity, which was done at Maryland and Columbia universities by two professors, has actually brought the figure you see on the screen. What does it mean? Actually, professors, they analyzed companies on Standards and Poor's composite list, and they did that analysis for 15 years, from 1992 to 2006. They checked the financials, and of course, they analyzed women's representation on top management positions. And their finding was that female representation in those top management positions can increase companies' value by $42 million, not to mix the currencies. I think that's quite incredible value for shareholders and also for the society. Then I have one more figure on the screen, which is a bit older. McKinsey Global Institute report has done an analysis. But I have chosen to share with you that report because it illustrates quite well what is the speed of change, or what could be the speed of change. And I would argue with some of the speakers previously, stating that it might take us for a very long time to change the society. I would say everything is in our hands and our conscious decisions. What McKinsey has found out that actually there could be two scenarios of increasing our global GDP by trillion of dollars if we would have much more women in business by advancing women's equality. And in the best in region scenario, they found that we could increase global GDP by 11% if countries would match the rate of best improving country in their own region. That would give us already a certain growth in 10 years period. There is even a better scenario, which is called full potential scenario, stating that if women took an identical role in labor market as men, we could have our global GDP growing by 26%. So I would say those figures actually prove all the facts and all the ideas mentioned in the first part of our meeting. So let's look where we are. you most probably also know that there is this Forbes annual list of billionaires. And that list is increasing also actually quite fast. Anyone would guess how many billionaires we have in the world now? Okay, numbers. So I'm bringing you one more number. To be very precise, 2,755. Almost 3,000, right? It's a number of 2020. And actually, if we compare with the previous year, that number increased by 660 billionaires. So I would say also very good progress. Would I surprise you that I would say that there are no women at top 10 list? Yeah, no surprises. Yeah, some of the ladies nodding the head. No surprises. Okay, then one more question. I would say now you will be able really to answer that. How many women would you name are on that almost 3,000 list? 10, okay. 2, 2, right. Okay, no, I would say that we are too pessimistic. It's already 12, and I would say the answer is it's how you look at the figure, right? I would say only 12, which amounts to 328, if I remember correctly. So I would say that most probably that fact also shows quite well the progress we could make and increase our global GDP. On another hand, there is one positive trend which I see, that those women being on the billionaires list, their wealth amounts to $1.5 trillion already now, and has increased by 60% compared to the last year. So actually the trend is quite good, and I would say maybe we just need some more years to come on a more and better equality. Some more figures, as I said, I will bring you more figures. At SEB, we did a client data analysis in the Baltics, and we analyzed how many women own businesses, how many women are the owners of those legal entities which we bank with. And the numbers you see, 22% of women, they are owners of legal entities according to our database. If we look to the beneficiaries of those owners, the ratio is a bit better, and it amounts to 28%. But still, referring back to those scientific reports and figures, I would say that Lithuania is already losing quite a big potential of GDP growth. There are a number of reasons why it is so, and I would elaborate today on 2 reasons, illustrating additionally illustrating them with our own examples and my own example. So reason number 1, I would say that we have touched that a bit already in the first part of the session, but women, they are really cautious and avoiding risk more than men. Sometimes they are even underestimating their capabilities. And that also lands that, we most probably, some of women, they are also afraid of making mistakes. And even when we looked at NASDAQ Stock Exchange investors list, there is only a quarter of women who invest. And investments is always about taking some risk. Then I'm going also to share one more example on illustrating that this internal fear and underestimation maybe is also a very strong reason why we have so few women on the top management positions. If we look at SEB, the organization I represent, Actually, diversity is one of top priorities, diversity and inclusion, and we have adopted a policy, we applied different means on encouraging that. On another hand, I would say even our experience is a bit ambiguous. If we look to our organization, we are quite female organization, where 7 out of 10 working at SEB are women. And we are quite good at the ratio of management positions in general, if we take all the managers' positions. But if we look to the C-level reports, then I would say that's where we acknowledge that there is a way for improvement. At C-level reports, those who are accountable to the board, we have only 38% women. And of course, we do have like conscious decisions on how to improve that situation. And the first thing which we really spend time on is the awareness increase. We do arrange different type of trainings, seminars and webinars to our employees, explaining what it means, why we need the diversity and how we can improve our situation because of economic interest, because we could be even more successful and stronger. On another hand, we have quite clear principles in place when it comes to decision-making processes. For example, in our recruitment process or succession planning process, we always ask for the final candidates to be like with different genders. And then professionalism, person's knowledge, capabilities, of course, they are not like even discussed. It's a hygiene factor to have competent people in place. But we always strive and ask managers to think on whom else they see the potential to become a top manager's position. And it's always that we ask them, bring 2 persons, 1 man, one woman, and think on, find the differences and so on, and maybe invest in both of them for the future of our organization. Another recent example is that we appointed recently 1 manager directly reporting to me because of her professional capabilities and the right skills to the position. That was definitely number 1 kind of criteria. But actually, being pregnant didn't even stop us of appointing her to that managerial position. And I think those things, or those kind of actions where we really break those stereotypes ourselves, they lead to a better improved situation. Oh, I see that time is running. And I still want to, but Akvile, I know she's very generous. So let's focus then on the reason number 2. Stereotypes. I won't elaborate on those anymore, but here I want to share my own story. Actually, I would say that I was quite lucky. I was quite lucky to start and grow my career at SEB, at the bank with Scandinavian culture and values. And during my 22 years of journey, I haven't experienced any kind of direct discrimination here working in the bank in Lithuania. Although, when I reflected back, I remembered 1 conversation where I was challenged as a woman for the position by another colleague from another country. And actually, that conversation was really interesting one where I was a bit surprised why I wasn't asked about the competences I have, but rather I was scared of the importance of the role, about the kind of difficult work I should carry on, and especially also, and I was even asked whether I understand what kind of fire is waiting ahead of me. And I remember myself listening calmly to that conversation. And then I would say, where I found out myself being successful and leaving that situation, because I looked at that conversation like as a challenge. And I didn't realize to be threatened. I chose quite another approach. I chose to take those all questions and those remarks rather like, what's behind the lines? What does it mean that I will have to do? And I was even not doubting that I would not take the position. And it was really an encouragement for me to do the best and show the best results with the team, that it's not a woman or a man that matters to take the positions. First of all, it's your professionalism, skills, and competences. And my lessons learned from that journey was that, accept the challenge rather than humiliation or some uncomfortable situations you experience, and read behind the lines. Then focus on your strength, what you are strong at and what you can deliver. And of course, at any situation, you are not alone. You have a team around, you have your supporters, close ones to support you and help if needed. And I was really lucky one to have a very good team and managers with me in my journey. So, how we could then become richer and smarter in the future? I do really believe that the future is not that far away to have equality, gender equality in our society. And I envision society without barriers. And I think we are here, all the leaders, politicians, to make that change. To make the change and especially encourage women on taking those steps, becoming entrepreneurs and doing their own business and creating their own companies, as that will give us very good implications in the future. And I would wish all of us, hearing a woman with a story to start her own business, not to discourage her, but rather find the supporting words, or if you don't find them, just keep your doubts for yourself and let her prove her first steps. I think that's exactly what we need. We need much more support, much more empathic listening, and we will make the change. Thank you.
Wow. Thanks a lot. So thank you for a great presentation and a very inspiring ending, as well as sharing the personal story. Maybe we have time, like a minute for a quick question if you have from the audience. And okay, here you go.
Do I need
a mic? Yes, please do.
Good. Thanks for a very inspiring presentation, and it made me think a bit about one of the biggest, maybe the biggest challenge I have had as a manager. That is when I work together with female colleagues. We have, me being fairly high up, I have discussions on promotions and professional development, and my female colleagues throughout undersell themselves. It's the attitude, it's a lack of self-confidence. So they are 100% or 120% fit, but they think they are 62% or something like that. And how to address this issue? One thing is, of course, role models like yourself. There should be more of them, but until we have more role models, what should we do, and what have you done in SEB? Thanks.
I would say that's a very good question, and I acknowledge the situation, because I do face the same issues, even talking to my colleagues, and there is no magic. I do believe learning process, which is very powerful, and I think we just need to dedicate time for those women to invest into themselves, to learn, to train, to practice, to increase this self-confidence first of all. Maybe I was the lucky one with the nice childhood I have, where my parents gave me lots of, this internal trust. And if someone needs that trust, we just need to help them to build that trust. So I would say that those first steps, they should start internally with each and every woman. And then I would say the positive feedback is also a very powerful tool to even support and build the trust of for those ladies in the future. Just, you know, be close to your colleagues and support at every step they do.
Thanks a lot. Thanks again.
Thank you.